Welcome to Lead Desk, my name is Rob Edwards, and in this video we're going to look at the process of creating call flows. I'm going to create a relatively complex call flow from start to finish with you and talk through my thought process of what we did when we created it and also how we put it all together. This flow will use a lot of the more popular call flow applets, but we won't include everything. So if you want to read more, there are support articles available which go into more detail about all of the applets. A reminder that we have both basic and advanced applets. The flow that I'm going to be doing today is going to be using the advanced applets to achieve it. If you only have access to basic applets, you can still create flows, but they will generally be ones which allow you to put a call through to a particular place. So a one queue or an agent or transfer to a specific number. So these are much more limited, but still useful. The first step in creating a flow is planning it. And it's really important to sit down and write out what you actually want this thing to do. Now you can do this in a number of ways. You can create a flowchart in PowerPoint, or you can scribble it on a napkin, or however you feel most comfortable to do it. But think about all of the endpoints that you're going to need to hit within this flow, all of the error checking you're going to want to do to make sure that a call doesn't get lost in some obscure corner of the flow. We want to make sure that we have all of the bases covered. And this is the example that I'm going to follow through. Let's have a quick run through what this does purely from the diagram point of view. Starting at the top left, the call comes in, and the first thing we do is to check to see whether it arrived during our normal opening hours. If it's not inside our normal opening hours, we tell the customer what our normal opening hours are, and then we hang up on them. If it is within our normal opening hours, then we're going to give a menu with customer service, technical support, callback, or manager. If the customer chooses the customer service option, we'll put them through to the queue which connects to customer service, the yellow dot on our flowchart here. Of course, we still have the option here that the queue might be inactive or might be closed despite us being inside of our opening hours. So we do need to make sure that we cover those options in the queue applet, so we have a greeting and a hang up if for some reason the queue is not currently in operation. Same idea for the second option there, but it's going to connect to our green dot, which is our tech support team, rather than the yellow dot for customer service. But again, we're doing our error checking, we're making sure we've got those endpoints covered. If the customer chooses option 3 to create a callback, we will do exactly that. We will tell the customer who created a callback, and then we'll hang up on them. The fourth case is the most complicated of them, because this is the option where the customer has said they want to speak to a manager. And it's not as straightforward as just putting a call through to that manager's extension. First of all, that manager has to have an agent account, and that agent account will need to be logged in. If the manager is not logged into their agent account at the moment, we'll give a greeting, create a callback, which will direct to the manager, and then we will hang up that call. If the manager's agent account is online at the moment, then we will direct the call to that agent directly, not through a queue, but to that agent. If the manager picks up using their agent account, brilliant, the call connects. If the manager does not answer within enough time, we will give a greeting saying, sorry, we've tried to put you through, but the manager isn't available. In that case, what we're going to do is put the call through to the customer service team. That's our yellow dot again. Of course, if that queue is not available, we'll give a greeting and hang up, because that's about as much as we can do at that point. So we've thought about all of the possibilities here. We've had a look at all those opportunities, and we've made sure we've got defined endpoints for where the call goes to in each case. It might be the customer service team, the tech support team, it might be the manager, or it might result in a hang up after a greeting. The other thing I'd like you to notice here is that we have two parts of this flow which are the same as each other. Both at the point when the customer chooses one to go to customer service, or if the manager does not pick up in time. In both cases, we have a situation where we're going to direct the call to the customer service queue, and if the queue is not active right now, we have a greeting and a hang up. My advice is when you spot things like that in your planning, that we actually create those as separate modules and use an applet to direct to those modules instead. The point here is that if you get one particular bit of code which works, reuse it. There's no point in reinventing the wheel all the time. And that is why we will do that in our flow here. So although you can see I've written out longhand here, we're going to use applets, which will allow us to reuse kind of code fragments, if you like, of this plan. The other thing that I would notice here, the other thing which I think is important to consider, is that it's actually quite difficult to change the order of a flow after the fact. Once you've been using it for any length of time, you're not going to want to go back and edit it. If the customer is used to pressing 3 for a callback, if we suddenly insert a third option for the accounts team, then they're going to get confused, and we're going to get people going to the accounts team when they wanted to create a good callback because they always choose option 3 and suddenly that option 3 is changed. Moreover, going and editing something in the middle of a flow means rebuilding everything after it again. So it's really important to get down as low a level as you can at the planning stage before you start. But when you're ready to start, let's dive into the application. So, as I say, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create those duplicatable code fragments. So we're going to go to the inbound page and the flows subpage, and we're going to create a call flow, which we are going to call queue to customer service. And this little fragment of flow started with a queue, and the queue we were going to choose was our onboarding customer service queue. And if this queue was currently inactive, we were going to give a greeting. And I'm just going to keep things simple here. We'll have a robot read aloud the text that the queue is not available. So it's going to read aloud the text, the queue is currently unavailable. We apologize for the inconvenience. And then when we've done that, we're going to hang up on them. So let's minimize that branch. We still have the branch for if the queue is closed, but it's essentially going to be the same action. So we'll give a greeting, we'll read aloud the same text in English, and then we'll hang up again. So there we have our small code snippet of a flow, which we are going to use in our larger flow later on. Let's save that. So we're going to want to reuse this code fragment later on, and for that we're going to need the LeadML URL. So we're going to copy and paste that. I might need it several times, so I think I might copy and paste that into a text document so I can get back to it when I need it. So I've copied that URL so I can reuse it when I need it, and now I'm going to create my main call flow. And let's make our way through it. We were going to start with the timing applet, and I could, by hand, define my opening hours within the timing applet. But if I've already set the opening hours in one of my queues, it's much better to use them as the basis. So I'm going to choose to use the opening hours from my onboarding customer service queue. This is the one I know has the correct opening hours for my department on it. And the point of doing that is that if I have multiple queues and multiple flows that all need to refer to those same opening hours, I only need to set them once in that main customer service queue and then reuse them using the timing applet to refer to them whenever I want to do so. If it is closed, we'll give a greeting. Very sorry, we're not available right now. Please call back during our normal opening hours. And then we'll hang up. I'm not, by the way, going to put in the read aloud text for all of our greeting applets here in the interest of keeping this down in time. If we are open, however, we're going to give a greeting, welcome to customer services, and then we're going to give a menu option. And this menu option will also have some read aloud text where we're going to actually read aloud the options which they are going to select from. And the options here are 1 for customer service, 2 for tech support, then we'll add a third option which will be our callback option, and the 4th option to speak to a manager. There are, by the way, error checking cases all the way down here for what happens if the caller doesn't actually enter anything on the menu at all. Well, we should probably do something to handle that. I'm going to keep our example simple because it's already complicated enough, so I'm just going to hang up here. That's not the recommended solution. And likewise, if they enter a number which isn't valid, I'm also going to hang up on them. Don't do that. You should have some sort of error capturing there and perhaps sending it back in a circle again and starting over. So our four options then were customer service, tech support, callback and manager. And the first of those was the customer service one, which we created that little code fragment for. And I'm going to use the redirect applet to send this flow to another one. And this is where we need to use that URL we copied from the other flow. So I'm just going to pop back, copy that from my notepad and paste it in here. If the customer chooses option 1, it'll go to this flow, which directed them to customer service. If they choose option 2, that's the tech support one, we're going to direct them to a different queue for that. We don't have a code fragment for this because this is the only time we use this option. And again, if it's inactive or if it's closed, we would give a greeting and then hang up, a greeting and then hang up. In the interests of time, I'm just going to use the hang up. This is very much me saying do as I say, not as I do. Third option is another new applet, one we haven't looked at before. This is the callback applet, where the customer is just saying, hey, just call me back. It asks us for a comment. So whenever you see one of these callbacks that's been created through the menu system, it's going to have this comment in the agent interface, and the agent will know what to do with it. We need to select the project that we're going with, which was our onboarding project. And we're not going to select a particular agent. This is going to be a public callback. And we're then going to say, thank you, we have created the callback. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then we're going to hang up. Our final option was the one where we were offering the opportunity for the customer to talk to a manager. And the first thing we wanted to do was check to see if the manager was actually online using their agent account right now. That is the agent failover. And the agent we're going to check on is RobDemo. Is RobDemo currently live in the application using their account? If the agent is offline or unavailable, what we're going to do then is we're going to offer a callback, greeting. I'm sorry, the manager is not available right now. We've left a callback to let him know that you wanted to speak to him or her. And he or she will get back to you as soon as they can. So again, for the same project, but this time for the agent RobDemo. And then we're going to hang up. If the agent is unavailable, we're going to say, I'm sorry, the manager is currently on a call at the moment, so we'll put you through to the normal customer service queue. And this again is an example of using our redirect to go to that same flow, the code fragment we created earlier. And the one gap we have left now is when the agent is available. So we're going to use the agent applet to put this call through to that agent. Again, it's going to be RobDemo. There is a chance, of course, that the manager still may not pick up. So how long is it going to ring for? Let's say it's going to ring for 30 seconds. If the manager does not pick up in that time, we still need to do something. And I would suggest that this is again a case where we're going to put them through to customer service. So, I'm sorry, the manager's not available right now. We're putting you through to the customer service queue. And again, we're going to use our redirect applet to reuse that code fragment so we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. When we're done, we click the Save button, and that flow is now created. So my main call flow now exists, and in it we've set up this menu system with the 4 options in it, and one of those options has reused a fragment of flow that we created separately. Now, as I say, we didn't look at every applet in this here, but I hope what you've seen is an idea of how this can all work, a concept of some of the things that you can do with flows, and hopefully that gets you thinking about how you are going to use them. Remember, super important, plan it before you build it, because trying to fix things in the middle is all but impossible. You'd have to start over and rebuild the flow from scratch. So give a lot of thought to what it needs to look like before you begin. I hope that was useful. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.